She got into junior high. She had another bad incident with a boy. She thought that he liked her and she liked him, and then she found out a few weeks later that he was up at Lagoon riding the roller coaster and met a girl and was kissing her under the roller coaster one day. She found out about it. She'd never been kissed. She thought, it must be me. And she went to that same part of the brain saying, it's because I'm ugly. Boys don't like me. And she started to create these kinds of lenses. Another incident, a couple of more incidences in high school where she got stood up, or she thought somebody liked her and then somebody teased her about it and the guy said he didn't, he was just making fun or something like that, things along those lines. So by the time she gets into my office, she's had maybe 5 or 6 of these incidences that she went to the same place in her brain and said, something's wrong with me, I'm ugly. I tell people I'm the guy with the Windex. I show people how to change those lenses. I want to give you another example too, because this just recently happened. This was a couple that I had been seeing for over a year. They were really working hard on the things that they were trying to resolve, and had actually done quite well. When they first came into my office, the husband had said to me, I love my wife more than anything. The wife said, I love my husband. And he would say, but we just need to fine-tune our marriage. We've just got to make it a little bit better. So they worked on a lot of things on how to get free from each other and the things that the other person did so they could learn to love the people. And you'll hear throughout the weeks to come that my practice is based upon that idea, that freedom or agency or independence of thought is absolutely necessary to be able to truly love. When we can really get free from people, we can love them more than ever. It's when we're not free and their stuff continues to hurt us, that's when we have trouble loving. We want them to change, but the reality, it's up to us to decide, I don't have to let those things mess with me anymore. Well, he said, we just have to fine-tune our marriage. There's just a couple of little things, if we could just work it out. In the beginning, with most couples, I say, if you fully emancipated yourself with your parents, where you're free from them, you love them profoundly, you've turned all of the mistakes that your parents have made into wisdom, and you love and forgive your parents for their mistakes and actually are thankful for the mistakes that they made because it turned you to wisdom, we call that the emancipatory process, or the emancipation. And if you've done that with your parents, you're then going to have a neural pathway or a lens that's going to help you be able to do that with your spouse. Well, he said to me, I really don't need to get free from my parents. My parents are wonderful. And I said, well, it's not just bad parents that we need to emancipate from. We need to emancipate from everybody. Everyone that's put their hand on the steering wheel of our life. He said, no, I don't think so. So I saw them for several months, and 3 or 4 months later I said to him, you know, I think it might still be a good idea that you emancipate from your mom and dad. And he said, no, Craig, my mother is the most wonderful woman in the world, and so is my father. And I agreed with him. I actually know of his mother. His mother had raised 5 children in a wonderful fashion. She was a wonderful wife. She was beautiful. She was actually quite well known in the community. She was an incredible mother and an incredible wife. And this son, who was about 45 years of age, told me how wonderful his mother was. And I absolutely agreed with him. Well, 3 more months went by and I said, I still think you need to emancipate. And he said, I don't need to emancipate. And I said, let me see if I can say it differently today. Instead of emancipating or breaking free, let me offer this. Let's say that your mother is gold, okay? She's the most wonderful woman that you've ever seen. She was the perfect example as a mother. She was the perfect example as a wife, as a caregiver, as a person in the community. She was incredible. And we're going to say then that the lens you have of motherhood, wifery, all of those things is a gold lens. Okay? He said, all right, that's fine. And then you marry this woman who's green. She's incredibly green, but she's not gold. At that point, the wife came up out of her chair. You can't believe how hard it is to try to measure up to that woman. No one isn't perfect. She's the most perfect woman in the world. And he just sat there going, oh. And I said, so this need that you have to, if we could just fine-tune our marriage, do you think it's your wife who maybe is having these difficulties, or a poor wife? Or is it possible that because of the golden lens that you have with your mother, you're now viewing your wife through this gold lens, and she's a wonderful green woman and has just as many wonderful characteristics as your mother does. But your lens of your mother, your neurological unconscious submodality, that piece of history is still affecting what's going on in your relationship today, so you seem to be constantly frustrated with the things your wife does. I saw him 3 more times. Not only are we going to talk about how lenses affect us, but in the weeks to come we're going to talk about how we change those lenses.